Hey guys, it's spooky season. Well, not so much really, as we're not so big on Halloween in the UK, so really it's mostly spooky season on the interwebs. Anywho, my contribution to this most creepy time is a pumpkin girl wearing a pumpkin. Well, I considered making her an actual pumpkin, but you'll see. Let's get straight into it. I used a very vibrant orange this time around for my pumpkin. Last year I stuck to the muted tones when making my pumpkin wreath, but this year is all about the brighter colours. Well, I've decided to make it so. I also opted to use lime green and a slightly darker green. I will of course leave a list of all the materials I used in the description box below as usual. I made the legs off camera and gave her green socks, although I was initially going to give her green boots, but I changed my mind. But more on that later. Along with the dark green socks, I decided to give her lime green shorts, and using lime green yarn, I joined the legs together and carried on crocheting, switching to the orange. So I had a very distinct image in my head of what I wanted this amigurumi to look like. I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull it off, but I thought I'd definitely give it a try. I crocheted the torso part mostly off camera and paused when it came to installing the arms. I made sure to stuff the bottom half of the amigurumi fairly well before moving on to the next part. To make the pumpkin look like a pumpkin, I basically would have had to use a lot of stuffing, and to mitigate that I used an inner core of aluminium foil and then I wrapped some batting around it. So obviously later on when I do the next step, the aluminium core will provide some sort of resistance, and then the stuffing won't necessarily do what stuffing does, which is eventually it does lose the air and it shrinks a little bit. I then crocheted the arms, adding lime green sleeves. Here goes the lime green again. And I also added some ribbed crochet to the sleeves to make them look like a jumper. I mean, it is sweater weather after all. This is also the point where I thought she looked a bit like Violet Beauregard from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You know, the one that gets turned into a blueberry and then has to be juiced. Well, when you see it, you can't unsee it, so sorry if I've ruined it for you. Before I carried on with the head, I stopped here to try out my plan. After all, this is the point of failure, and if it didn't work, then I probably couldn't go on. Using the orange, I chose a starting point and anchored my yarn there. I then pulled it across the opposite side to start creating the sections of my pumpkin. This is the point where my camera battery ran out, and naturally I didn't even notice until I was finished, but hopefully you got the gist of what I was doing. After I finished the head, I also then went on to add some ribbing using the green at the neck to get a fluffy jumper collar. I mean, at some points this looked like she had a neck brace on, so I had to fiddle around with the length of the actual collar, but I think I settled on a middle ground. I think she turned out great. Well, I like it. We'll see if you do. For the shoes, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to go with boots, but I changed my mind as I envisioned her in a garden walking around with a pair of gardening Crocs on her feet. So I made some two-toned green and orange Crocs. You know, as you do. I cut out some Cork Board and glued it onto the bottom of the Crocs to add some stability, since on their own they were kind of just floppy and very bendy. I sealed the cork board with some polyacrylic varnish and placed them to one side to fully dry. After the polyacrylic was dry, I added some decorative bits to them to make them look even more like Crocs. These are just a bunch of different size brads I got from Amazon. I used some glue to secure the brads in place, and then I took some foam and I also glued this to the inside of the Crocs. This gave me a more pronounced dome shape on the top part of the foot. Oh, they look so cute. It's wig cap time again, and for her hair I used this green yarn and created a short bob for her using, it's sort of a it's a lighter lime green. I was trying to avoid saying lime green, but I said it anyway, so there you go. I then went through and did some dark green highlights to her fringe, and I figured this would just call back to the top of the pumpkin and the stalk. So just a little nod to the top of the pumpkin. I added a simple orange bow off camera, as I've done bows before. I didn't really feel the need to do it again. It's just a simple bow to put at the top of her head. That's it, guys. I had an idea. I thought I'd try it out, and I'm very happy with the results. I love the pumpkin cosplay on her, and I hope you liked my video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, and even consider subscribing if you like the content I create. Don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I'll leave you with the beauty shots of my little pumpkin spiced amigurumi, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!